Today I'm at Liberty High School with three sports star from Liberty High School, Quaid Copher, and he's going to the Naval Academy. Thank you for joining me today.
Excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you on. I'll start with my first question. How old were you when you started playing basketball and baseball?
So I started playing basketball when I was 5. I went through Clovis West, Little Hoopsters, and then I started playing T-ball when I was 4, and I've just continued on till
So you
now.
started at a very young age.
Yeah, very young.
Did you do it like one man forward? Like was he the one running the camps at Clovis West?
Yeah, yep.
Did you play any other sports?
Yeah, so I've always been involved in really as many sports as I could fit in my schedule. So in high school alone, I was in cross country, basketball, and baseball. Picked up football this year too. And then before high school, I was big into soccer and wrestling as well.
So you've been busy, like with all sorts of sports.
Yeah, always busy.
You played football this year?
Yeah, with COVID, I kind of crammed in 4 sports with the 8-week season. So I didn't get to play very much because I went to 2 practices, but I did get a uniform.
At least you got the uniform.
Yeah, exactly.
Which one do you like better, baseball or basketball?
So that's something I always get, and my answer is always they're just completely different sports to me. Basketball is something where I love it because I can go purely off like adrenaline and just go out there and compete all the time. Baseball is something I take more pride in, definitely. I think it's more personal competition, like you versus another guy. So they're just different.
It's like since they're different sports, like you don't necessarily have
yeah,
one.
they're both up there.
Can you take us through the moment when you scored the winning run against Minarets in the Valley Championship for baseball?
Yeah, so that's by far my favorite memory in all of my baseball career. So I got a hit to lead off the inning, and then 2 guys later we had a hit and run, and so the hit and run ball went to right field, and I was rounding second, and I rounded third, and the throw was coming from right field, and the pitcher was going to back up third, but he didn't think I would go 4. And as I was rounding third, he was in the baseline. And so he tried to get out of the way by falling to the ground. And so I jumped over him, and then the umpire called interference. And so I kind of jogged in, and that was it. That was this second run of the Valley Championship game.
That's crazy. And you didn't think you were going to go home?
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
What was the experience like for you your sophomore year where you won Valley at Sound Arena and basketball and played in state?
Yeah, basketball sophomore year, that was my first year on varsity. So starting as a sophomore, it was definitely nerve-wracking going into a Valley Championship atmosphere. And then even more than that, going into our school's first home playoff game. That was a whole new level of nerves that I've never had because that was by far the biggest crowd I've ever seen in this gym. So really, it was just a nervous time.
So it was just like nerve-wracking, like big, like
Yeah.
a lot at stake.
Definitely.
Like, first time for Liberty hosting a playoff game.
Yep.
I know this past season was weird with COVID. What was it like playing this season doing 4 sports?
So with COVID, it was busy to say the least. So we definitely combined 4 seasons into 8 weeks or so. So it started off pretty normal. I did cross country. I had 2 or 3 races a week. But then towards the end of cross country, I was getting into basketball and baseball too. So at that time, I was having 5 to 6 games a week with also a race a week.
That's
so
crazy.
it was definitely a crazy athletic time.
Something you'll never forget. Like
Yeah,
doing
no,
all that.
definitely some of the best memories I've had.
So it was fun doing it all, even as a lot.
Yeah, wouldn't change a thing.
What would you say the benefits are of playing at a smaller school?
The biggest one for me athletically would be that I'm able to do all these sports. And so I was able to go out for the football team, and even though I wasn't able to go to all the practices, I was still able to be on the team and still get playing time. So really just having a connection with all the coaches and being able to just get out and experience all the different sports I want to.
So getting to experience everything like at a bigger school, you probably had to focus on just like 1 or 2.
Yeah, exactly.
When did you know going to the Naval Academy was something you wanted to do?
So to go to the Naval Academy, I did a camp my freshman year at the academy, and I really fell in love with the atmosphere of kind of a emphasis on a physical and mental well-being all in one. And that's really what drew me into it. It was something that they were going to emphasize me being physically fit as well as me being at the top of my game academically.
So you liked how it was a balance, like a physically fit and then also for academics, they focused on that too?
Definitely.
What's the process like in getting accepted into Naval Academy?
So there's really two different processes. You have to get not only admittance into the school itself, but you also have to have a congressional nomination. And so for the congressional nomination, it's kind of just like any other application. You have your teacher evaluations, recommendations. You fill out an application, and then if you get past that stage, then you're asked to come in for an interview. And so with COVID, that was not come in for an interview. It was kind of call on Zoom. And so that entailed 18 people on one call interviewing me for about 30 minutes. And then a couple months later, I got the call saying that I got my congressional nomination. And then that kind of snowballed into getting admittance into the academy. And so that application process was really three main parts. You've got your normal application, which included a physical assessment, and then you've got your interview, so there's another interview to get into the academy, and then your medical clearance, just to make sure that there's nothing that'll hinder your ability to serve.
So there's like a lot that goes into it.
Yes, a lot, and it's a very long process, and so that's why they say that so many people apply, but then not as many get in. Like this year there were 16,000 people that applied, and only about 1,100 get in.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you got to be one of them.
Yeah, I feel very fortunate to be one of them.
And the Zoom call with 18 people, that has to be different.
Yeah, that was a very nervous one.
What have you been doing to get ready for the Naval Academy?
So physically, I feel pretty good, considering I've been playing 4 sports for the past 4 months. And then academically, I'm really just reviewing all the stuff I learned in high school because I've taken placement exams, and it's really all review so far. And so it's really just making sure I have a good base before I go into the rest of my college experience.
So you're ready, like physically, like doing all those sports, like how you mentioned earlier, like all in 8 weeks, and then just reviewing kind of what you learned in high school.
Yep, pretty much.
What do you want to do after you graduate from Navy?
So my plan is to become a pilot, and with that, there's only a certain number of people that can become a pilot. So from what I've heard and people I've talked to, basically, if you are ranked at the top half of your class, you're pretty much guaranteed to be a pilot if that's what you want to do. So that's my goal.
So you want to be a pilot and be top ranked in your class so that you have a pretty much locked in to be it.
Yep.
Do you plan to continue playing sports in the future?
Yeah, so I plan on playing baseball at the academy, and since they don't necessarily do recruiting, it'll be kind of a go and show the coach what I've got, considering I've already sent videos, talked it over with him. So it'll really be a show to prove that everything is accurate.
So you'll be able to play baseball there and just like prove that you can play on the team.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun playing baseball too there.
Yeah, definitely.
And what teams do you play, like Army?
Yeah, so it's part of the Patriot League. I can't tell you all of them. I don't remember them all. But it includes Army, a school called Lafayette, and Penn State.
Penn State? So that'd be a good team to play against.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite baseball player and basketball player?
So my favorite baseball player is Mookie Betts. I think he brings a really good energy to the table, and he just goes out there and competes every day. Basketball, I like KD a lot. I think it's impressive how he can just go over and score in any atmosphere of the game.
So for baseball, Mookie Betts and then KD.
Yep.
I used to like KD until he left Russell Westbrook. Do you try to model your game after anyone?
Not really. I think I'm pretty unique in both basketball and baseball. I kind of have some odd mechanics in baseball, but it's always worked out for me. In basketball, I'll be honest. I'm not the most skilled basketball player, but I think my speed and athleticism kind of keeps me relevant and competitive.
So for baseball, like you have different mechanics, but it's good for you. So
Yeah.
it's like not necessarily modeling you for anyone. Then like basketball helps you just being athletic.
Yeah,
and you can
definitely.
compete. How would you describe yourself off the diamond and court?
So the big thing I like to do, and the way I like to describe myself, is really just a competitor. So I've always preached, like, to anyone who would really talk to me about it, that I think competition is the most like important aspect in everything, because it's not only competing athletically, but like competing academically. There's always rankings. There's always someone that's better than you, smarter than you. So I always want to be competing with those people to better myself.
See, like you're real competitive, like competing like to get better, because it
Yeah.
helps you bring out the best of you in competition.
100%.
Then the last question I have is for fun. You get to take any 3 MLB or NBA players to dinner. They can be past or present. Who are you taking?
So I would take Steph and LeBron, because I'd want to talk about what it was like playing against each other in the finals so many times. And then for baseball, I'd take David Ortiz, because I grew up watching him, watching him help my Red Sox win a lot of games. So I've always wanted to meet him.
So Steph, LeBron, and David Ortiz.
Yep.
That would be fun. So is that why you like Mookie Betts?
Yeah, so he started on the Red Sox. That's when I really started watching him.
That makes
Sad
sense.
to see him at the Dodgers.
I like the Dodgers.
Ah, that's tough.
Alright, that would be a fun dinner.
Yeah, that would be a
Positive
good dinner.
experience too.
Yep.
Alright, thank you for joining me today.
Glad to be here.